stronger. God, I want to dream again. Take me where I've never been. I wanna go there. This time I'm not scared. Now I am unbreakable. It's unmistakable. No one can touch me. Nothing can stop me.
I think kaya naging medyo sloppy yung start namin. Kasi I think since rookie pa lang kami, so nag-a-adapt pa kami sa sa playstyle ng PGS. Pero I think konting communications and team play, mababalik naman namin yung dati namin laro na since umabot nga kami nun sa IASF last year. So mababalik namin siya basta team play lang and practice na. I think yung sa match namin later sa MSK, I think kailangan lang namin siguro proper communication, giving infos talaga, tapos gawin lang namin yung playstyle namin to be confident sa bawat isa, tas trust na lang siguro. Pero I think meron kaming may laban kami dito sa sa match na to.
Good afternoon, Summoners, and welcome back to the second week of the Bacchus Pro Gaming Series 2017 Summer Split. Drive your energy. I am Vulcan, and this is Atlas. We will be your shoutcasters for the first match going into the second game, and from that interview, it just goes to show that ACA is still in the game in the PGS.
Yeah, may laban talaga sila, as Cass said in the interview, and that last game was so clean. It was incredibly clean. I'm actually quite surprised. In a good way, that ACA was able to pull that off against MSK. And MSK, it seems like they also have a lot of improvement since last week. Their draft was really better coming into this matchup. Of course, that is going to be the share and win hashtag for the share and win promo.
Okay, here are the mechanics for the share and win. To our viewers out there, we have something special in store for you. So you saw that hashtag, right? Go into your Facebook, your profile Facebook, and write it there. Put the hashtag there and also share our stream. That's important. You have to share it on your timeline publicly with the hashtag, and the winner will be announced through the announcement actually. So 5 winners for the mystery gift will be rewarded if you are picked with the hashtag and with the link that you shared with our stream.
Of course, check out the official page of the PGS, as well as checking out the stream, gaming.youtube.com/phgarena/live. You'll see all the details there on the official page. But of course, coming into the second game of the matchup, MSK has to recover from this because they cannot. Their pride demands that they do not get 0-2 because they were the champions for the spring split. They were the ones that went to the Southeast Asian scene here in GPL. So if they get 0-2 by Asian Arena, an up-and-coming team in the PGS, that's actually a huge statement for Asian Arena. They get knocked out of their pedestal, and it's just a reset coming to the summer split.
Yeah, looking at the schedule, that will be their first match, as you said, Atlas. And the second match would be Infused versus TNC, followed by match 3, AEX versus IPT, something you guys should look out for.
I'm definitely waiting for that third match, but of course, leading up to that, we still have the last game of this first match, as well as 2 more games in Infused versus TNC. We're going to be seeing how MSK recovers from that last game. They definitely are an experienced team, so I don't think there's a way that they'll just take this line down, because the experience that they have means that they can adapt more in these kinds of situations. So we'll be seeing if Asian Arena can keep up their momentum coming to this game too. Of course, looking at the standings, MSK with 3 games, still at 3 points from their 2-0 last week. And now Asian Arena, from their 0-4, they will now get 1 point. They might potentially get 2 more points if they win again against MSK. But MSK is going to be fighting for that 1-1.
So, in your opinion, Atlas, this is kind of like the same scenario we saw in the last split, where Jenski actually broke the winning streak of MSK. The Emperor Esports actually broke the winning streak of MSK. So this is kind of a reminder that a new team who entered the PGS still has to show what they've got. But you gotta hand it to MSK. I think they will try, and they might just deny that 2-0 sweep from Asian Arena.
You cannot underestimate Asian Arena, but of course MSK has left their mark in the PGS, so I'm pretty sure that they will be able to make this a 1-1 with experience and the mechanics behind their back, behind them, backing them up. But of course, ACA, we saw that they're definitely a contender. They cannot be underestimated in that their macro play, their drafting as well, their shot calling, it's also on point in that last game. Maybe they've like fully adapted to the environment of the PGS. We'll see. Of course, that was only one game. It's a huge statement, but still, it's only one game. We're gonna have to see if ACA can pull off that kind of performance consistently.
And we'll have to wait for MSK's counterplay for that. I mean, we did see ACA, as soon as they got the Baron, they just run down mid. And we did see that with AX, as soon as they got the Rift Herald, with just one Rift Herald.
They won it like 18 minutes or something.
They just won that game just using one of the objectives in the top lane, the Rift Herald. So right now, the game pace itself is really fast-paced. It just goes to show from that first game.
Yeah, one mistake in terms of not even just a team fight, a mistake in rotation, not backing when you need to. Like in that last game, Kaigu tried to race against the 5-man push with the Baron buff. So of course, 5 Baron buffs plus a fed Caitlyn is going to push faster than a single 1-kill Fiora. So that was like one mistake that definitely costed them the game there, because they could have really just fought it more with a 5v5, tried to go for some small advantages and extend the game, but that was just one missed recall that definitely costed them that game.
So to the viewers out there, please note that, again, we are still on this share and win. As Atlas and I explained, there will be a link, that's code that will pop out during the stream. It's a hashtag itself. No need to add another hashtag to it. What's important for you is to share the stream publicly on your timeline, and the winners will be announced. 5 winners, actually. So what are you waiting for? It's actually pretty exciting to know that 5 winners will be picked each game.
Yeah, each game. So like we have 6 games. So it's 30 winners of mystery gifts. And that's a lot of chances to win, actually. Just pay attention to the stream. We'll be giving you that hashtag, so just pay attention. Of course, once we get into the drafting between ACA and MSK, that's actually where it begins. That's actually when we'll see, has MSK recovered and has ACA maintained their momentum? Because MSK still has to recover in their drafting. They had a much improved draft, but I think there were a lot of things that they could have done that better. And the Summer Spell choice as well is definitely something that we have to pay attention to. The double teleport on ACA was one of the huge keys in their victory earlier. Their composition combined with their 2 teleports is definitely something not to be scoffed at.
Or it could be like a triple teleport, knowing that it's a Galio.
Triple teleport, yeah. And it's so versatile as well. But of course, we'll be seeing, I don't think the Galio will be going through against ACA, and yeah, MSK does ban it out. So it's going to be the Ivern. The same bans against MSK earlier, banning out the Lulu, Elise, and Ivern. On the other hand, MSK is going to be banning out the Caitlyn. Luxurious Caitlyn was so on point, so safe that last game. The Zac is still an insta-ban with how strong it is. And the Galio banned out, because I love Aiko's itemization there. Because the adaptive helm that he built actually mitigated a lot of damage that Kaigu's Lunge and Exosense Twin Fangs should bring out. So and plus his innate tankiness, damage reduction, magic damage shield. Of course, now ACA still picking up that Jarvan the 4th. Gonna be picking up the Gragas and the Morgana as well instead of MSK. Zensha will be picking up the Zaya. James on that Kha'Zix, while TG now on that Thresh still.
So we're going to be seeing the second banning phase, Cannon ban in the side of Asian Arena. Same with Talia, surprisingly. And for MSK's side, a Tomkage and a Zyra.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing that Talia mid lane for ACA. Still, the cannon does go through for ACA. That will probably still be... actually, that is going to be the AD carry cannon. Going to be... Wait. Oh, actually, it's going to be Luxuria. It's still not all locked in, but we're going to be seeing all of that. It might be the Anivia coming into the mid lane onto Aiko, but definitely that is going to be the jungle and top lane are flexed for
Yes.
Boydi and Zenabla.
But
But I think it's much more likely that it's going to be the jungle J4 with the top lane Gragas.
It'll be very interesting to see again that Jarvan will be entering the pro scene little by little, but I gotta hand it to the playstyle of Jarvan. It's not that reliable in terms of damage. You gotta have a really good follow-up, and I can see that Asian Arena already has the Anivia for that
Yeah, that's
follow-up.
definitely, they're definitely getting the follow-up, and not only the Cataclysm, but there's also the terrain that they can manipulate with the crystallize of that Anivia. So it's just like the double, I'm Jarvan the Fourth, I'm Anivia, I'm helping meme. That is possible for Asian Arena, but that's so much lockdown that doesn't involve stun slows. It's just that manipulating the terrain of the battle itself can actually give Asian Arena a lot of ways to deny MSK. And here, MSK, they do have a pretty solid composition as well. The Kazakhs, definitely something James really likes to play. One of the popular junglers as well. Loss of damage. Will Exosen, loss of utility as well. Zensho, a lot of safety with that Feather Storm, and the lockdown coming from the Feathers is actually something that's substantial, with TG backing them up with the support. This is definitely a very solid composition come from MSK. But from Asian Arena, if they get a good combo off, it's going to be scary.
And it's really nice to see that Kaigo will be on a clan. We always see him running in the top lane, more of a tank, really a solid tank, not much damage. But we did see in Game 1 that he did pick up the Fiora. Now in Game 2, a clan, we can see that Kaigo is picking up some different top laners to really complement his team's aggression this time, entering the summer split.
There's a lot more damage coming from him, a lot more carry potential.
Yeah.
If that Kled snowballs, it's going to be a nightmare for ACA. But of course, he has the charge, right? On the other hand, ACA has the Cataclysm, has the Crystallize, so that's a lot of terrain. And since charge needs him to go around terrain, he might actually be forced to repath his charge if it gets blocked. So that's something that they have to pay attention to coming into the skirmishes and team fights.
So it will be very interesting to see how the clan is going to really drift around the rift and see that he will be the initiator for his team. But you got to hand it to a Jarvan to always go in ham, very deep inside the enemy territory and lock down for the Anivia and also the Morgana.
Then if they get a Wampa combo, seems like ACA also has that pattern. As Arctic said earlier, they have their playstyle that they played earlier was something that they're really comfortable on. It's not only because they have a really good siege and a solid front line. They also have a lot of this composition is actually also very ultimate reliant. That's the same with last game's composition. So the thing that MSK can take advantage of is once their ultimates are burnt, they have a pretty big gap of time that they can take advantage of ACA's weakest point or weakest state. So that is something that they can actually play around. But still, it will all have to go on how the junglers play it, how they dictate the pace of the game, how they snowball their lanes. This is going to be very important.
I think it's going to win.
I think with the composition, it's like I can't make any predictions just yet because almost everyone came into this matchup expecting MSK to win by a landslide.
Yeah.
But now it's going to be now it was ACA just completely demolishing them in the macro game. We'll be seeing how MSK actually plays this out. They have the experience backing them up, but we'll see once we load into Summer's Rift.
And we are now loaded up to the Rift. This is the second game of the first match between Asian Arena versus MSK. We're going to be loading up the Rift, and let's see, will this be a sweep for Asian Arena, or will MSK fight back, turning it to a 1-1?
Of course, quite a difference here. Earlier in Game 1, it seems like both of these teams were going for lines of scrimmage, just regular lines of scrimmage where you defend the entrances of your jungle. But now it seems like ACA might be going for a 5-man here, coming to the top lane. The red side might be going for some deep vision, but Kaigo might be in trouble. The Dark Binding actually misses. That is something that could have resulted in a kill. But now it's going to be MSK knowing where ACA is, which actually, yeah, they use this opportunity for TG to possibly put down some deep vision to find out Zenavla's pathing here.
So we're going to be expecting MSK is going to play the counter play. I mean, seeing how they're very like subtle right now, they don't want to start a 1v1 right now, knowing that there is a potential that if ever they give a lead to any members of Asian Arena, they might repeat the same mistake they did in Game 1.
That is something that they have to watch out for. It seems like with this information, the ward on that bot lane actually, I think, signals ACA to go for the blue buff side start for Zinavla instead of going for, say, the Raptors or the red buff. Will be their pickup here. So it's just going to be standard level 1s coming to this. It's going to be mid lane, I think, is going to be a slow lane, but I think bot lane and top lane are going to be much more interesting, much more action-packed. Let's look at here.
Oh, wow. DG tried to set some zone for his ADC, but you gotta hand it to Morita Boy. On that Morgana, the mobility that Zaya has will be out of the window.
Yeah, because of the CC coming from the Chain of Corruption as well. All of that, everything that Zensho can offer for the bot lane, it might actually be nullified. But coming to this, it seems like Mineski going for an early level 2 here because they actually pushed out the lane. Possibly going to try, because the TG is trying to play this aggressively. He's on that Ignite. So Zensho and TG definitely want for that level 2 already.
Oh, Luxuria gets hit by the death sentence, and Ignite has been burned. Luxuria flashes it away. Also, Zensho, he gets the first blood.
And I think ACA should have predicted that. Because Mineski was definitely going for that fast push into the level 2, they should have expected that as soon as they reach level 2, while ACA's bot lane is only level 1, they will be going on to Luxuria. Because Varus is definitely not a mobile AD carry, plus Morita Boy's protection only comes in the form of magic damage and against CC. But once Zensho and TG already have their damage out, the Black Shield isn't going to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to damage output, you gotta respect Mineski's bot lane. It is TG on the Ignite, as you said. Plus, the passive coming from the Flay, that's extra damage for Zensho. And Morita Boy, what can he do? Just bind the enemy and use the Torment as well. Not much of a burst compared to the Zaya and Thresh combos.
So that's actually something huge coming from ACA's bot lane, how they played that. Because they should have expected it. Even from Zensho's itemization, the Doran's Blade instead of the much more optimal Doran's Shield, they have to expect them to go aggressive and go for that early level 2 push. So coming from that bot lane, this does give a 2 longsword advantage onto Zensho. So further fights here in the bot lane are definitely going to be in his favor.
Yes, Eiko in the mid lane having quite a hard time against an Orianna. You have to really feel the burn from the ball and the zone. But in the top lane, Boydie is having a really hard time, and Kaigo is not giving him a really good time in CS himself. Look how Kaigo is playing, man. Such aggression. He knows how to control a lane.
And even though once he gets into the unmounted Kled, he actually can still deal more damage onto Boydie. And Boydie actually missed the crucial barrel there. Cask there for a little bit of more damage, but
when you get spotted in the Raptor camp, expect to die there. Asian Arena, Zinavla picks up a kill.
There wasn't even a chance for him to flash away because he was locked down by the Flash Frost. He was stuck between the walls of the Crystallize and the natural jungle, and he gets Flash Frosted and get the EQ combo. That's so much burst actually. And since Kha'Zix is naturally squishy, the problem with J4 that he doesn't have a lot of sustained damage is actually nullified because they just slaughtered him there in the Raptor camp.
What? That's what happens when you're trying to counter jungle and you get spotted, especially in the Raptor camp.
Oh,
but in the mid lane, we do see Zinavla go in for Axos, and he does flash out, and a cleanse been wasted on, plus a teleport burn by Kaigo.
The teleport burn from Kaigo is actually going to be pretty big here. ACA is still running that double teleport combination. So that one teleport burnt by Kaigo is going to make the bot lane much more difficult, a lot more difficult for Zensho. Even though they have these advantages in terms of damage, they have 2 longswords, they have Doran's Blade. They cannot go all in, even with a Thresh who has his Ignite ready, because that's going to pull 1 or 2 teleports come from ACA, and that might spell disaster for Mineski once Luxuria starts getting up again.
And if ever they go in for the bottom lane, you have to expect that TG on a Thresh with a Lantern play, Zensho can play reckless all he wants.
Because Zensho can actually definitely play reckless here. Where they're constantly pushing ACA in, but they still have to be very careful here. Of course, there's no wards for ACA deep enough to actually go for a full-on teleport gank come from any of these laners, but they still have to be definitely careful. And Luxuria around 10 CS behind Zensho because of the lead that he accumulated and because he can't push out too far in lane. Has to be very careful.
Yeah, but from the incident that he had in the Raptor camp, he still went for the 2 longsword, going in for that really early burst damage. Oh, the mid lane though.
Dear.
Oh, Exozen gets ganked by 3 members.
3-man gank, not even the teleport burn for Boyd. He just walked down right there. A little bit of exercise for that Gragas pays off for ACA, giving a kill onto Zinavla, actually, which is pretty substantial. Once he gets more damage items, the burst, even though he doesn't have a lot of sustained damage, the burst might actually be enough to take out any of the laners he wants to gank.
And did you see that Crystallize actually blocked some of the knockup from the explosive cask?
It's like, just slam him into the wall, prevent him from getting too far. That was great.
That is a synergy right there. And I think they played him like a ping pong ball.
Definitely just played a ball game there in the mid lane. Exosens Oriana, the champion with a ball, gets turned into a ball there in the mid lane. Just bouncing around there.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that Exo does not have his flash, that's a really sure kill for Asian Arena. But when it comes to team clashes, you gotta hand it to MSK on the Kled and the Thresh. They have the power to initiate. Whereas I think Asian Arena's side, they have a lockdown. Not much of a really strong initiate, just a lockdown.
Yeah, they have the Dragon Strike, the Demoshin standard Dragon Strike combo, plus disengage with explosive cask. But it actually leaves them open, because that means that no one's really gonna peel for Luxuria here. He's not very mobile. Morai the boy can only offer CC protection. If he can't stop damage, well, Boydie and Zinavla will definitely want to go all in the middle of the fight. So, and look, since Luxuria doesn't have the same safety as Caitlyn, it might be dangerous for ACA.
And also for Exo, I mean, he is really having a hard time against that Anivia, thanks to the help from Asian Arena's top lane and Dongle. But right now, in the Riverside, Zensho going in on the Morita Boy. He does get exhausted. He flashes away from the Demoshin standard combo with Morita Boy also flashing away. He is very low on health. TG looking for some blood. He does not continue the chase.
That is a little bit of resources burned on Morita Boy's side. That is the flash and the exhaust. So that will be a lot less kill pressure and safety for Luxuria. And as I said, it seems like when you look at this composition that ACA drafted, with the Gragas, J4, and the Anivia, it seems like he would have really wanted to play Caitlyn here. Like, even if you say, okay, he really wants the CC coming from the Chains of Corruption.
Oh,
Flash.
TG went for that really flashy flash.
But of course, the response coming from Luxuria was fast enough to actually dodge away from that death sentence. But if he was playing Caitlyn here, oh man, Zinavla really wants to focus at mid lane. But if Luxuria was playing the Caitlyn here, that's a lot more safety. They might even not need to go for the Morgana anymore if he had picked the Caitlyn. But because it was banned out, they're kind of shoehorned into this kind of composition. Oh man, James once again
leaps right into the Glacial Storm with the Crystallize blocking its way. But I think this is a warning to James. Don't even try again for the second time.
It's like, no trespassing.
No
Trespassers will be shot. Survivors will be shot again for ACA. But Eiko did not have enough mana to actually continue the chase there. Seems like he will definitely want the blue buff for once it spawns on ACA's side.
Man, Zinavla's Jarvan is such an impact. I mean, when you see him showing some in the lane, you have to expect that combo plus the Cataclysm for the lockdown. But
it is ready.
It is ready, but I can see that James, he is trying to take away something from Zinavla, and I don't think Zinavla is going to take that. And now, he's in the bottom lane, looking for some chance to gang.
Both of these junglers, actually.
Same as James.
Oh, dear.
Let's see, the Tormentor Soul is up there. James goes different dive. Same as Zinavla. He will pick up a kill. It goes on to James. He goes down. And Kaigo from the top lane goes in for the charge. Goes for the tower dive with Zencho picking up Luxuria.
5-man gank here in the bot lane. Here comes Exosen.
Oh, he does get the juke.
That is, in the end, a 2 for 2. But look at all the resources burnt there by Mineski. This does give them a little bit of control over this bot lane. But
flash in by Slam. Does not get Zencho. And he goes towards the turret. That is a surprise for Zencho. He did not see that coming.
That, in the end, is 2 for 3. They block away a little bit of push coming from Zensho.
Wow. This is a different Asian Arena. definitely. I mean,
from last week.
yeah.
Definitely. But still, Mineski, they did end up with a pretty good 5-man dive there. Burnt a lot of resources, but still it ended up as a 2 for 2. Because what we saw there is they were trying to go for a pincer attack with Kaigo teleporting behind them, going for that charge. We'll see that replay here. Because, this is supposed to be a 4v3. But because of how fast they get taken down, look at the burst coming from Zenavla. This turns into just a 2v2 once again, with Exo sent a little bit late to the party. It could have been a lot cleaner for Mineski here. If they had a little bit more temperance, waited for Kaigo. The flash was kind of funny there, a little bit unnecessary, but it did end up with a 2 for 3. Less resources burned for ACA, which is actually a win for them. And now, they're actually going for the lane swap.
Yeah, and right now, Zenavla has all the kills for his team.
Jesus.
Look at that score, 5-3, with all the 5 kills onto Zenavla. And a Titanic Hydra, he completed it already. And he's running the Thunder Lord's Decree.
So much burst. The pain, Mineski will be feeling that every time Zenavla goes for a gank. He already has Cataclysm ready for the next fight, for the next gank. So Mineski has to be ready.
And not amount of, let's say, mobility you have as a Kha'Zix. Once your leap is on cooldown, you're good as dead. Same as for Zensho. If he does not have his ultimate when the Jarvan goes in, he's pretty much dead.
He has to save it for any sort of burst that ACA has, but the Featherstorm, it dodges like a volley of CC in that split second that you jump up. But ACA has really consistent crowd control. Not just one huge volley. They do have the burst coming from Zenavla, but once the Featherstorm is burnt, the Crystallize, rather the Flash Frost is still there, the Body Slam is still available, so it's gonna be very dangerous for Zensho to still go for it.
Oh, TG pays the price for the face check with Eiko, dodging that death sentence.
Definitely clean there, getting that Rift Herald and then having Eiko waiting around the wings to try and deter anyone from going for any steals. Definitely good there, because Eiko would have been better off as he did, zoning away members of Mineski than helping with the Rift Herald.
So this time, I mean, question for you, Atlas. Is this going to be something, a Rift Herald that EX did?
I mean, Mineski, I don't think they have enough tools to actually defend against the Rift Herald. Plus, from how they played last game, they did have a few bumpy rotations here and there, but I don't think they'll make the mistake that since 2 members were up top lane, and like what happened in the AX game, 2 members were up top lane who didn't recall in time for the Rift Herald. I don't think it'll happen in this game. Plus, with the composition here, the thing in that AX game was the composition that lost needed to scale up. Like, they had a high scaling AD carry, the rest of their composition had to scale up. While on the other hand, Mineski is still doesn't need to scale up too fast, which means that they're not as vulnerable to that Rift Herald running down mid.
So right now, the first turret is not even secured by any team, so whoever gets this might get a lead, but look at the chain of CC onto TG.
This might be something big here in the bot lane. The turret is going to be their target. The Rift Herald actually gets summoned. It might actually beat out the push coming from Zensho there in the top lane.
Yep, and with Zensho in the top lane, not enough members to respond to this Rift Herald. Kaigo is there. 3 members of Mineski is at the bot lane. Let's see how the fight turns out. A lot of CC Hamas is eating up, and now Zenavla is taking the front line with Kaigo unmounted. Zenavla loses this opportunity, goes in with a Cataclysm, and now zoning out members of Mineski. Asian Arena gets the first turret.
Actually, no, it was Mineski that got the first turret there. Mineski getting the first turret there with Zensho pushing it down, but ACA got a kill on top of that, which was good for them. No, actually they did not get, but they were able to push Mineski off of the bot lane. This actually leaves him open for further push coming from Zensho. Xayah is potent at pushing with her deadly plumage. Actually gives him a huge attack speed boost. Here comes Eiko to try and destroy him.
Zensho still going for the turret. That is a good trade-off for Mineski with Eiko. Going for a teleport with no reward. Luxuria does have the blast cone. Does not hit the blast cone yet. That's a penalty. Kaigo gets a kill with a flash. Burnt by Zenavla. Also by Exo's set. Here's the dive in from Hamas with the leap. And there it is. The Void Spikes for the shutdown.
And now momentum of the game goes back to Mineski. And that all started from the teleport of Eiko down there to the, up there to the top lane. Because he didn't really get anything out of the top lane. He even had to burn his passive against Zensho. And because he teleported away from his teammates, Mineski had an opportunity and they took it, immediately pulling the trigger against the ACA with a number deficit. So coming to that, very well played from Mineski to immediately take advantage of ACA's mistake.
Yeah, and because of that, they got 2 turrets. And as you said, they also got the first turret of the game, right? So that's a huge goal. And looking at the differential, Mineski is actually leading by not too much, but it's the distribution more evenly throughout Mineski's teams, where at Asian Arena, not too much.
Again, here, Kaigu actually now charges from behind, which leaves the rest of ACA open here. Moraito Boy flashes over. They take forever to pop this blast cone. They could have just used it to get to Boydie.
Yeah.
Because even in that position, the blast cone would have taken Kaigu with them, which would leave Kaigu more open to being ganged up on and killed, which would have allowed ACA to fight a little bit harder against Mineski there, but they took forever to pop that blast cone.
And by the time they were going to pop it, it was too late.
They had to flash away.
Yeah, Kaigu was right in front of them, and that's what happened.
That is going to be one big cooldown for Mineski burn. The shockwave taken away for now, so this is a small open gap of time for ACA to actually take advantage of that. Mineski does not have the shockwave for around 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So that's something that they definitely had to pay attention to that, because that was an attempt onto Luxuria.
Eiko.
Oh, face check.
Face check to the death, and there it is, the burst coming in from Asian Arena. It's not going to be much. Mineski gets the upper hand, and Zanabla goes in for the dive. He does pick up a kill onto TG, but it all boils down to Zensho getting the shutdown.
2 for 1, and Eiko, because he burnt it against Zensho in the top lane, didn't have the passive of Rebirth for that fight. So,
oh boy,
Exosen.
Maybe for a kill, and that's enough.
That is enough. Exosen being able to pull off the damage. Mineski showing that ACA, they're not letting them 2-0 them. And Zensho just continuing the push here. Already 4-2-1. And pushing so many turrets, actually top lane, and then now here to the bot lane. With the rest of his team actually with enough engaged, with enough of the plays coming into the other lanes to actually take down these turrets.
Yeah, I mean, with 3 members of Asian Arena down, this leaves Mineski so much freedom to roam around the map. And that's the penalty that Asian Arena pays for their recklessness.
And from these kills, from the turrets, it actually boils down to a 4,000 gold lead onto Mineski.
So Navla gonna get choked. Oh, he does get out by the shockwave, and Zanabla is big trouble. He gets taken out by Exosen with Moraito Boy with the Tormentor Chains will not be so successful, and Eiko overcommits, and Hamas picks up the kill, and now it is going to be Boydie picking up a kill to Hamas for the body slam combo.
Mineski's all low.
I don't think they should chase this one.
They don't have the mobility to actually chase them. And actually, ACA kind of falling apart here, 4,000 gold behind. And because of the fights that they choose, they actually keep losing them. The rotations as well come from Zinavla. And because all the gold is onto Zinavla, once he gets taken down, once he actually gets his Dragon Strike and the burst combo down with the Cataclysm, that's actually a lot of damage taken away from ACA. And because Mineski's sustained damage is actually pretty substantial, with a Kled, with a Zaya, even the Orianna has pretty decent damage. How that happens is that ACA just gets taken down because Luxuria, Eiko, and Boydie are not ahead enough to actually be super relevant in these team fights, because Mineski's spread of gold is much more balanced.
And also the itemization from Mineski. Look at Exosen's itemization. Morello Mollica with a needlessly long rod, whereas look at Eiko, just around the ages.
And actually only half charged up with that 10 minutes. So it's only at 6 minutes right now, 6 stacks. So needs a little bit more time to get the full power of that Rod of the Ages.
But will time be enough for ACA? I mean, looking how Mineski is playing with their rotations, they want to end the game already. I mean,
it's much cleaner.
Yeah, compared to the first game they had.
Now it seems like ACA, this isn't the same kind of composition that they had. They can just easily push. They don't have the Caitlyn. The Varus as well isn't as proficient in these sieges as the Caitlyn, so they're kind of having a little bit of trouble as well. Their combo for the their wombo combo as well isn't as solid as, say, Ken and Galio Jarvan. Now they have to make do with the Anivia, with the Gragas for the front line of Luxuria. It doesn't seem like it's working out too bad. They also have the Tahm Kench denied from them, so Luxuria doesn't have the same kind of safety. The rest of ACA doesn't have that safety of the Devour. So it's much harder. This game is much harder for ACA, and Mineski played their bans a lot better. Since now that they know, okay, this is the composition that ACA is really proficient at, let's block it away from them.
So the safety that Luxuria needed was taken away from them. So this is like a huge penalty. I mean, just denying a safety for Luxuria, this is the result. This is bad news for ACA. If ever, just from the drafting phase alone, Mineski already picked up what they lacked. Oh,
here comes Zenabla.
Zenabla goes in for the burst. TG flashes out with James, just poking him down. I mean, just tapping it in the back. So, shoot.
That is the Cataclysm burnt, though. On the other hand, the box was not burnt for TG. He's still going in.
Oh, Zencho gets knocked up, half health down.
Ooh.
He does dodge the freaking bind, but that was a pretty close call.
Definitely a close call there. He did not have the Cataclysm for that one. He had to use it, or rather use it on TG.
That was pretty close.
Definitely close.
So I think if you break it down, I mean, 2 ultimates down for both teams in a way.
But I think the ultimates, because as I said, this composition for ACA is a lot more ultimate reliant than Mineski's composition. So burning 2 for a 1-for-1 ultimate burn for both of these teams is actually a win onto Mineski. Because the Featherstorm, it is a huge safety tool for Zencho, but that's not like his bread and butter. On the other hand, Zenabla losing Cataclysm is actually so huge for ACA.
I mean, the way the game is being played, it's very spread out in a way that's advantageous for Mineski. Whereas Asian Arena, they're just chasing them down, trying to follow up. But this is bad news for them. And now, they know 3 members were there, and Zenabla does not have the Cataclysm, so they can engage. If the Cataclysm is on cooldown, no engage for them. That's bad news.
On the other hand, Kaigu, Boydie pushing down the side lanes, they have a lot more freedom to do that because they're not as I said, not as ultimate reliant as ACA's composition. And I think all of this is leading to, because in the last game, Right the Boy did so much in his roams and protecting his carries, and on that Morgana, he doesn't have the same potential, the same clutch Devour. It's not there for the Morgana, so they don't have that same, and I think it's a huge factor in how ACA is behind in this game. Is because they don't have Morita Boy being able to roam as much. He's 0, 3, and 4. Pretty good kill participation at around 40%, but it's not quite the same level as he had on that Tahm Kench with the Abyssal Voyage. With so much kill potential.
Look at the Death Madness connects on to Echo. There's a 2-man shockwave from Exoset, but that's not going to be enough. Then Navla goes in for the Cataclysm dive onto Sancho. He does use the Featherstorm, flashing over the wall, but then Navla follows him over the wall, getting the double kill, and now 3 members of ACA are down. So Navla forced to back away, leaving Boydie behind. That's what happens when your only damage is your jungler.
Man, that's actually an ace coming from Mineski, leaving them open for the Baron buff. That will their pickup here. They have enough damage to actually take this out. They have enough sustain as well. The shields coming from Exocen will be enough. And look, even with 3 members, they're doing this Baron buff pretty fast, and there's no way for ACA to contest this.
My god, that flash was in favor of ACA for just 5 seconds. But after that, the window of burst coming from Zenabla is gone. Zencho was the focus of Zenabla, which is pretty understandable, but you gotta hand it to other members of Mineski to fight back, and that's how Luxuria and Morita Boy didn't even contribute that much to a clash.
Yeah, and because Morita Boy just dies too quickly to get his complete Soul Shackles combo out here. You guys got look at the burst onto Echo and the 2-man shockwave. Meanwhile, Morita Boy goes on to Exocen and James, but since he's a squishy Morgana, doesn't get the full value of his kit. And with how that fight went, it was ACA that was surrounded after all of that, and they just get cleaned up here.
You kind of missed that Dragon Strike just a teensy bit. Pretty close. That would have been a huge outplay, but an ace and a Baron for Mineski.
And now they're 8,000 gold ahead. 2 Cloud Drakes doesn't really do much for the combat, but their rotations will be much faster, and now they are in the position that ACA was in the previous game. They're the ones with the Baron buff, with a gold lead, and they're able to just siege it out with the safety that they have.
Oh, that's a pretty clutch Black Shield, but that's just a minor terrain for MSK. If they actually bait out the Black Shield, that's nothing. ACA, as you said, Atlas, no damage. That's bad news.
It's
And
all coming from Zenavla.
Yeah.
Once he gets the burst out and a few of his Titanic Hydra auto attacks, it's kind of gone for them. Luxuria does not have any of the kills, just full of assists right now.
oh, Ego just eats up that shockwave, and now Zenabla trying to look for time to go in, but Mariah the boy is taking so much damage. He gets binded, Central picks him off, and now with Mariah the boy down, here's a flash in from DG, scaring away Eiko, and now EXO goes in for the flash too.
There's so much damage, and while all of that is happening, Kaigu doing so much work on these turrets.
The pressure is on. I mean, look at that Canyon minion.
Yeah, once Zensho gets some time with a turret, gets some free hits on that while Deadly Plumage is up, that's actually a huge chunk on that inhibitor turret. And all of ACA's focus is on this mid lane.
Oh, Luxuria was so close to eating
Oh,
up that
dear.
hook. And
Has
now
to be very careful
has
while
to be
the
very
siege is
careful.
up.
One mistake, Mineski is going to collapse onto you.
And while even if there's no mistake happening, the pressure of Kaigu down there in the bot lane cannot be ignored. Zensho as well is pushing the top lane too. So
Oh man.
it's definitely so difficult for ACA to make a decision on who to focus, because two members onto Kaigu will mean
Oh.
that the rest of ACA has to go defend the rest of the lanes with a deficit in numbers.
Oh, he
Kaigu actually gets it.
He gets called back. It was an outlaw dangerously low. The bear trap on the rope will not connect. And now, look at two members investing so much time onto Kaigu. Will he go down though? Hamas goes in for the kill. Zenavla gets
he
taken
survives.
down. And he survives with just 1% of his health. But at the cost of Hamas' life.
Zensho, though, top lane, getting that real push out with a Deadly Plumage, as I said. Look at that attack speed. Able to just take out these structures. He's taking a little bit of time here for the inhibitor, which actually pushes him off. While all of that was happening, I think this is a small misplay come from Mineski. I didn't see how they were playing it in the rest of the map, because Zensho was definitely pushing the top lane. But while two members were committed onto Kaigu, which was Zenavla and Boydie, I think they should have just stopped fighting over the mid lane and went to the top lane, helped Zensho push. They could have got an inhibitor for that. Instead, they kind of fought around with Eiko in the mid lane, which I don't think was the right decision. I think they should just went straight for the turrets along with Zensho. But still, that is a win for them. They're still 11,000 gold ahead. Gonna go for another Cloud Drake. They are gonna go fast in this Summoner's Rift while out of combat, so their rotations will be much quicker. Definitely scary for ACA, and it's so hard for them to actually get back because all of their damage is on their jungler, who has to build defensively now. But now, because he has all the gold, he has to build offensively, and there's just it's so difficult for Luxuria and Eiko to catch up in terms of damage. While on the other hand, Zensho has 5, 3, and 5, has his Infinity Edge, has his defensive item already in the Maul of Mortius. So ACA's damage is mitigated, and they're just still getting beat down. Here, ACA tries to go for a 5-man catch here, but I don't think Mineski is going to fall for it.
Just one trinket there is enough to spot 4 members, and look at the map. Pitch black for them, but this is just a standoff. TG's not budging at all.
All the while, though, Kaigo's pushing that top lane, so they can't stay here for too
Oh,
long.
here it comes. The collapse will fail for now with Murat the boy missing that Dark Vine. And Kaigo
Yeah,
at the top.
Kaigo, look at how he's been doing this. He has a Guardian's Angel as well. Still has a lot of damage with the Titanic Hydra to clear up the waves. And all of that time invested by ACA for a 5-man there in the bot lane,
They were trying to hunt.
it did not pay off at all. It actually costed them their top lane inhibitor.
At this point of the game, you would expect that you would stop hunting. Or, I mean, it's nice that they are trying to pick off members one by one.
They can. Yes, they have a lot of bursts from Zenavla, but now he's the one under duress.
Oh, he burns his flash. Now the safety onto the turret. So that's charge gun for Kaigo. There's the crystallize and the body slam combo. All onto Kaigo. He does something on the Angel. And the burst coming from Zanaba's Cataclysm with Sensho still healthy at all. Axel gets picked up. And here's the flash frame from Boydie. He gets a shot on goal. Kaigo picks up Scarl again. But look at Sensho not being touched by any members of ACA. That is the cleanup for Mineski.
Kaigo still going for it.
Still connects, and now 4-0 with Moraita Boy trying to go away. The Dark Fire does land, and now he does get the last laugh, but Mineski will just demolish their base.
This is going to be inhibitors open for Mineski. They will just take them down very easily. They have so much attack damage, and the lead that they've accumulated means that these inhibitors just fall very quickly. Moraita Boy. He does have the black shield.
This is going to be a mini game for Moraita Boy, also for TG, but the death timers are huge for ACA.
Oops. Oops. Flame machine broke. But all of that time that Moraita Boy was not able to recall is more time for Mineski to just push in this Nexus. Zenobla is up now, so is Boydie, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, that will be game set with Mineski, showing how it is done with adaptability and strategy, securing their second game, ending this first match with a 1-1.
That was Mineski showing that they cannot get 0-2'd. Even though their previous game was quite sloppy because they were caught off guard by how well ACA was playing that composition, they played their draft in a way that it denied every single important champion in the composition from last game. It was a reactive ban, but it worked out so well for them. And the composition that ACA went to as a last resort or a substitute for those champions to use in the Wombo combo, they didn't have the same kind of potency. And because of the way the gold was distributed, it was much easier for Mineski to get back from the early ganks and deficits in the mid lane. While on the other hand, once ACA started losing, since all of the gold was onto Zenavla, the burst champion that falls off later in the game, it became so difficult for them to get the gold back in their favor.
So because of that reactive ban, Mineski wins the second game and concluding the match for our first day in the second week of the Bacchus Pro Gaming Series 2017 Summer Split. And here are the end game stats.
Look at Kaigo and James did a lot here, along with TG. A lot of roams, a lot of these teleport plays. James' rotations were on point this game in terms of the ganking. But in the counter jungler, he kind of faltered a little bit early because Zenavla kept catching him out in his own jungle. But in the end, he recovered. They were able to pull off a lot of rotations in the other lanes, able to get the leads out. And because Zenobla, as I said, had all the gold, Luxuria had such a hard time carrying and getting his damage out. Eiko as well was not able to pull off this damage.
Yeah, the game was pretty weird in a way that everyone was spread out. But it was actually Mineski building up to this moment and really cleaning up the game, cleaning up after their mistakes in the first game.
Of course, coming into the damage. Look at the damage that Zensho just did.
Same as the Axos, and I mean, members of ACA couldn't even match the burst coming from Sanalva, and being the main damage dealer just goes to show why they lost.
Moraita Boy dealt more damage than Luxuria. Because that's actually a natural result of what happened. He didn't get any gold. He built mostly attack speed items. Almost no AD. So what happened there is he wasn't dealing enough damage, and because his front line wasn't as solid as last game, it didn't last as long as the last game because the only real tank they had is Boydie on that Gragas instead of having that super solid front line with a Galio mid and the rest of the composition. He wasn't able to free hit, and on the other hand, Zensho, because his front line is ahead and Kled is so survivable, he's able to free hit and then get those snares with the Blade Caller as well. And the safety coming from the Featherstorm is actually very substantial there. So all of that combined just allows Mineski to take away the game.
So, I guess there you have it, guys. That concludes the first match of day 2 of second week of day 1 of the Bacchus Pro Gaming Series 2017 Summer Split. We have been the Shoutcasters. I am Vulcan, and joining with me was my co-caster, Atlas. We'll be back for match 2, something that's going to be exciting for you guys after the short break. Sanavla, he will pick up a kill, and goes on to Hamas, he goes down, and Kaigo from the top lane goes in for the charge, goes for the tower dive with Zencho picking up Luxuria.
5-man gank here in the bot lane. Here comes Exocet.
Oh, he does get the kill.
That is a big
Go
end.
overcommits, and Hamas picks up the kill, and now it is going to be Boydie picking up a kill to Hamas for the body slam. Hamas connects on to Echo. There's a 2-man shockwave from Exocet, but that's not going to be enough. Then Navla goes in for the cataclysm dive onto Sancho. He does use the Featherstorm, flashing over the wall, but then Navla follows him over the wall, getting the double kill, and now 3 members of ACA are down. So Navla forced to back away, leaving Boydie behind. That's what happens when your only damage is your jungler.
He's the one under duress.
Oh, he burns his flash now to safety under the turret. So that's charged up for Kaigo. There's the Crystallize and the body slam combo. All of the Kaigo. He does something on the Angel. And the burst coming for Sanabla's Cataclysm with Sencho still healthy at all. Axel gets picked up. And here's the flash from Boydie. He gets a shot on goal. Kaigo picks up Skull again. But look at Sencho not being touched by any members of ACA. That is a cleanup for Mineski.
Kaigo still going for it.
Still connects, and now 4-0 with Morita Boy trying to go away.
Zenobla is up now, so is Boydie, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, that will be game set with Mineski, showing how it is done with adaptability and strategy, securing their second game, ending this